Right, in the last part, Wakasa had a bit of an ultimatum given to him. Oh, and Shirabe's daughter showed up. That's really all I can think of what happened in the last part, when I was playing through. Right, let's continue. You're on stage 5. I saved as soon as our protagonist was like, ugh. I like how it saves the dialogue that's in play at the time when you save. Ugh. What else can I say that? I blinked slowly as it dawned on me that I was awake. Where am I? The ceiling looked familiar. I'm back at the hotel. There was a damp towel on my forehead. It didn't feel very cold, so it must have been there for a while. I turned my head to the side and saw Mai sitting in a chair near my elbow. Yeah, have you been taking care of me? I'm sure it did. I'm sorry I made you worry. She looked at me anxiously. I felt my forehead. It wasn't burning, so it looked like my fever had broken. Oh yeah, our protagonist had a fever and collapsed. Hey, do you know where everyone is right now? Already? The sun outside the window was bright, like when I was bought out of the game, but she just said everyone just left. Don't tell me it's tomorrow. I scrambled to get out of bed, but pain radiated across my back. Ow. It's okay, I'm alright. Oh yeah, I got hit by that alien. I carefully reached around to my back and felt a large bandage under my shirt. Someone looked at my injury. So yeah, this is a little bit of a recap from the last part. Hogstein said he'd have someone look at me if Wakasa agreed to his deal. Someone obviously has, so... Wakasa, are you really going to do it? I grabbed my phone to check the time. Gosh, it's afternoon. The game's already started. There was an unread text message, but I didn't have time to deal with it. I carefully maneuvered myself out of bed as to not strain my back. I'm okay. Hey, do you want to go with me to visit Mitsubishi? Midarashi, sorry. I'm butchering names again. Hope you can tell me what happened after I got back to the hotel last night. When we reached his room, I knocked on the door. No one answered. Is he asleep? I tried the doorknob, it turned easily in my hand. Oh, it's not locked. Hello, I'm coming in. The room was completely empty. Looks like it, but he's still hurt. Where did he go? He must have gone after the others. Arabe had left us, then both Midarashi and I were injured, so we had to stay here. No, oops, my mouse has gone on the screen. I should move it. Knowing him, he probably felt he couldn't rest when it left the team with so many few players. Wakasa could be trying to betray them too. This is bad. I tried to reach Wakasa on his cell. No answer. Oh wait. Hogstein added the rule that said we can't contact each other anymore. I wouldn't be able to reach anyone until the game was over. What should I do? He might really trick them. The counter convinced Wakasa that his betrayal wouldn't make much of a difference in the end. But when there were lives on the line, who knew what could happen? What if they get in trouble? They better not get hurt because of that deal he made to save me. My back was still a mess of pain, but I couldn't just wait to do nothing. I have to find them. If Wakasa really was going to betray everyone for me, I had to stop him. Hey Mai.
Nani?
I'm going outside for a while. I'm going to need you to be a good girl and stay in the hotel.
大丈夫? すごい怪我してるってパパが言ってたよ。
Yeah, my fever went down. My back doesn't hurt much anymore. I'll be alright. So could you wait here with the piglets?
マイ、ちゃんとお留守番できるよ。
She looked at me, a little frown creasing her forehead, but nodded. Thank you. I promise I'll be back soon.
気をつけてね。
I will. I should check the lobby first. As soon as I entered, I ran to the nearest piglet. Excuse me. It looked surprised to see me. It began gesturing, and my best guess was that it was asking how I was feeling. I'm good now, thanks for asking. It seemed relieved. For some reason it's worried about me, even though it follows Hogstein's orders. Is the hotel still at the dock? It gestured wildly some more, trying to communicate. I'm not sure I'm getting this right, but... Are you saying it's about to depart? Piglet gave a big nod. Oh, thank you. I might make it if I hurry. Halfway out the door I skidded to a stop as I remembered. Oh, Maya's in Midarashi's room. Could you please keep an eye on her until we get back? Piglet nodded in agreement. I felt better now. I knew she'd be taken care of. I have to get off the ship before it leaves. I reached the ramp right as the ship started pulling away, so I ran down it quickly. I'd been in such a hurry I'd forgotten to ask where the game was happening. Oh geez, what should I do now? Maybe I'll try going to the plaza first. Oh wow. My route took me past to the site where the Bloodstained Hospital used to be. The explosion had been so huge the entire building was destroyed. Only a large crater was left. It's a miracle no one died in this. We were really lucky. If Wakasa's betrayal causes something like this... Words echoed in the empty space and I shivered. I need to find them fast. Ow. My back twinged when I tried to speed up. I was still rather wobbly on my feet too. I didn't have time to be concerned. Oh, that's right, I had a new text message. I checked my phone as I kept walking. It's from my uncle.
体が弱っているとき、気持ちが萎えているとき、一人で心細く思うときもあるだろう。そんなときは仲間のことを思え。一人じゃない。そんな気持ちが自分を支えてくれる。そして支えられた分だけ仲間を支えれば、きっと大きなことが成し遂げられるはずだ。頑張れ。 いつでも応援している。
Oh. His words made my heart feel light. I chanted them over and over like a prayer as I rushed towards the plaza. Pushed myself as hard as I could, my back burning the whole time. No one's here, I knew it. I looked at the map of the park to see if I could figure out where everyone may have gone. We've already gone through Samurai Fantasy and Alice Cart. Then there was the Bloodstained Hospital and Moonlight Ox. There's only 3 places left. I studied the remaining attractions. Bizarre Planet, Banned Animal Family, and something called Round Table Coliseum Nights 4. Which one is it? If I pick the wrong one, I'll have to backtrack. I don't know if I have a lot of energy right now. Shoot, I should have asked that piglet in the lobby. I ran out so fast I only remembered to make sure Maya was looked after. It probably knew something I should have asked. The piglets. Wait a second. Oh, we're doing the little mini game already with the keyword thing. Where could everyone be? They wouldn't be at the restaurants. Obviously no, that everyone goes at night. I've established that much. So they must be in the middle of a game. It's the 5th day and we almost made it to the end. Don't know if I'll have to check every attraction we haven't completed. We only got to each attraction once and they aren't reused on a later day. Wish there was a clue. I want to say it's Banned Animal Family. But everyone's yeah. I'm trying to figure out what the word could be. Problem is, calling them's prohibited now. I don't know if that's a trick now. If it's a trick question or not. Not a trick question, but a trick clue at this point. What have I got to lose? No. I obviously didn't do it right. I missed the keyword out then. I guess we get a bad ending now. Because we're gonna go there and there's gonna be nobody there. Like a shopping mall of some kind in a space theme. When none of them open, I started searching the area quickly. There was no warning. An explosion blasted through the walls, and glass and roar overtook the other sounds. My last thought that the others must have failed the game, and then the concrete and heat came down on me. Lost consciousness and blackness swallowed me, so yeah, we got a game over. That's annoying. but we can just try again, it's fine. Right, hold on, what was the keywords? It mentions about the piglet. There's always one in the lobby, but who knows if it's the same one, so it's got to be lobby. Clue's going to be a big factor. Maybe game? I'm not too sure. One of them's got to be the right keyword. I'm assuming lobby because it's a link to Piglet. And there's piglets everywhere, I'm sure of it. Hey man, thanks. Big ups. And welcome to the stream. My other emotes has not been updated yet. It's really irritating me. Have I finished choosing? Yes. Let's see, let's hope I got it right this time. Nope, got it wrong. Again. What am I missing? Can I just skip all of this real quick? Yeah, I've got to go through all this again because I just guessed wrong. I'm not sure what keyword they want me to highlight. Am I being like obtuse and not realizing which one it is? Attraction completed. And hotel. These are the other 3 words I've not tried. No, I don't get it. I do not get it. I could have sworn that at least one of the words would have been correct. I'm definitely missing something. Like, I'm probably not reading enough. Right, where could everyone be? They wouldn't be at the restaurant. They must be in the middle of a game. Right, we haven't tried restaurants. I'm going to be annoyed now if it's restaurant, because restaurant is like the least obvious word to pick. It's obviously not attraction. And it's obviously not completed. Try these clues, I suppose. Well, these 2, like, I can't count now. These 3 words, or keywords. I don't think I picked restaurant at all once. And I've accidentally backed out of it. God damn it. Oh god damn it, did I just press yes to that? It was restaurants. Are you serious? Are you really serious? How does that make sense? Oh, of course it's the piglets. I feel dumb now. I feel really stupid. That's embarrassing. Maybe one of them knows. Yeah, I don't like the new Pog emotes. Why didn't they just keep it as Komodo hype. Maybe one of them knows. I'll get an answer quicker than if I just guessed myself. I feel really, really stupid right now. I need to hurry. That's really fucking cringe, to be fair now. Like, I've just... Answer staring at my face. Like, that was awful. Like, I've done that way too many times today as well. It's a running theme, I think, today is. Luckily the restaurant was open. I eagerly stepped inside. Somebody was already there wolfing down food at the table at the far end. It's Mitarashi.
あ？どうした？こんなところで。お前怪我して寝込んでるんじゃなかったか？
No one to stand on manners, he continued to devour the pile of food on his plate. I could say the same to you. Why are you here eating all that by yourself when you should be on that ship? Everyone else is out risking their lives in the game. Does he not realize that?
いや、一度はゲーム不参加って決めたんだがよ。やっぱりいても立ってもいられなくてここまで来たんだ。だがな、今からゲームに参加しても怪我人の俺にできることなんざ限られてる。
Do you know where he might be?
なあ、お前は知らないだろうが、昨日の夜、指導たちが広場で浦部の持ってた数珠を見つけたんだ。もしかしたら、あいつはワールドブーに捕まってるのかもしれねえ。
I did sleep a long time. I understand why he left the hotel now, but one thing still bugged me. So, why are you here eating?
お、今の俺に一番必要なのは体力の回復だからな。それでここで飯を食ってたってわけだ。
His chest puffed out and he gave a cocky grin. Oh, I see. I shouldn't have expected anything different from him.
で、お前はなんで出てきちまったんだ？体の方はもういいのか？
I think my fever broke, so I'm doing better. Do you know where the others are?
あいつらならバザールプラネットに向かったぜ。
Really?
ああ、あいつらの後を追って広場に行ったらちょうど移動するところだったからな。あいつらには俺が浦部を探すってことは伝えてある。俺は単独で行動させてもらうぜ。
Thank you. I hadn't expected to find out so much when I came here. I spun round towards the exit.
おい、そんなに慌ててどうしたんだ？
I'm sorry, I'll explain later. I ran out the door without a backward glance. I had to hurry. I wonder which store they're in. I went as fast as I could, but I was still weak. It'd taken longer than I'd hoped to get to Bizarre Planet. Each step jarred my back and the pain got more intense. I have to find them as soon as possible. Wakasa had agreed to be a trader so that Hogstein would give me treatment. What if he really does betray them and they die in an explosion because they failed a game? Horrible scenarios tumbled through my head. I need to hurry. I quickly glanced in every store I passed. They all seemed closed and no one was around. Where are they? A piglet. Spotted one standing guard in front of a store down ahead. They must be there. I hurried over to it. Is the game going on inside? It shook its head and spread its arms wide in an attempt to block the door. Please let me in. Made a hushing motion with its hand. I need to be quiet. It nodded and pointed inside. There they are. I saw Wakasa and the others discussing something some distance from the door. I was right. It's strange to hear what they were saying.
さて、なんとかこの2つに候補が絞れたな。こっちだよ。間違いなくこっちが1万円だと思う。
He sounds excited.
なんだ、お前さんずいぶん自信ありげだな。
これが最後のチャンスなんだ。もう少し慎重に考えるべきじゃないか。そんなこと言うけど、2人ともこういう女の子向けグッズの値段の感覚全然ないじゃない。こういうのは僕に任せてよ。
Wakasa kept pushing them to agree with him. It seemed like they needed to guess the correct price of a certain item to win the game.
若狭君、何かおかしくない？
そんなことないよ。何言ってんの、目吉さん。絶対にこれが1万円。間違いないよ。
He picked up the item he'd chosen. The object he held in his hand was a small pouch with an image of Hogstein on the front. That's 10,000. It can't be more than 2,000 or 3,000. No one can tell that he's lying. I tried to duck past the piglet at the door, but it firmly grabbed my arm as I moved towards it. Let me go, I need to be in there. All I got was a shaking head in reply.
もう置くからね。
If no one stopped him, they'd fail the game. Why won't they let me in? I don't understand. You know, everyone's lives are in danger, Wakasa. Why are you lying at such a crucial moment? We're gonna yell. He jerked, dropping the pouch. Everyone inside swiftly turned my direction.
どうしてここにいるの？ホテルで寝てるはずじゃ。
I had to tell you something. I stepped through the doorway, barely looking at the startled piglet who'd fallen over in surprise. Wakasa, please stop this. You don't have to betray everyone.
ごめん。でも僕、君を助けたくて。
His shoulders slumped and he looked down at the floor.
どういうことなんだ、一体。
We were getting blank looks all around, but no one but us knew what was going on. That's Several piglets rushed into the store before I could explain. Wakasa and I were surrounded and cut off from the others. Hogstein. His voice was loud and it bounced off the walls.
ワルドブ、これは一体どういうことだ。
若狭父さんは私と同じ島になるという約束をしたのです。しかしその約束を破った。これはルールが知ってする手柄ですよ。
なんだと。
Shido looked stunned. Glancing around, everyone else seemed to be the same.
おい、若狭とは裏切り者というのは本当なのか。
He didn't want to. He was doing it because of me.
サキちゃん。
どういうことだ。
After I got hurt yesterday, he made a deal with Hogstein. He had to betray you to get it treatment for me.
なんだと？ゲームオーバーになったのに何事もなく戻ってきておかしいとは思ったが、そういうことだったのか。
There were nods all around. They all seemed to understand.
たとえそうだとしても、みんなを裏切るって決めたのは僕自身だから。僕が悪いんだ。
Don't blame yourself.
その通りだ。お前さんが取引をしなけりゃお嬢ちゃんの命が危なかったかもしれないんだしな。
Placed his hands on Wakasa's shoulder, squeezing it reassuringly.
私は契約違反は許しません。二人でついてきてください。
Piglets quickly closed in and dove at us. Before we even had a chance to blink, they lifted us up onto their shoulders.
おい、何をするんだ。
Shidao tried to go after us.
おっと、動かないでください。まだゲームの最中ですよ。ゲームを途中持ってきたら、人質がどうなることか。
畜生。
下ろせよ。
Wakasa and I struggled, but it was hopeless. The others could only watch as they carried us away. Piglets reached the plaza with us, still slung over their shoulders. Let us go.
下ろせってば。逃げたりしないから。
He flailed his arms and legs, trying to loosen the hold they had on him, but they quickly restrained him. In perfect step, they steadfastly ignored our pleas. Our final destination was Castle Hogstein. Ow. Piglets practically dropped us at the base of the stairs before quickly disappearing. I raised my head to find Hogstein upon the throne. He was visibly quivering with suppressed rage. Hogstein.
よくも大事な約束をやめてくれましたね。今すぐあなたたちを始末して差し上げましょう。
待って。確かに約束を破った僕は罰を受けても仕方ないよ。でもサキちゃんには何もしないで。
No.
もしサキちゃんに何かあったら、僕がみんなを裏切ってまで助けようとした意味がなくなっちゃうよ。
今さら何を言ってるんですか。裏切りの約束をした時に言ったはずです。もし約束を破ったら、その時は彼女を始末すると。
My breath hitched. Wait, he had to agree to that?
でもお前だって約束の時に強引にクリアを失敗させなくてもいいって言ったじゃないか。それなのにさっきは最後のチャンスで裏切れって合図を出してきて、あんな無理なタイミングで指示してくるなんてどういうつもりなんだよ。
What a sneak, he tricked Wakasa. I opened my mouth, but then Wakasa stood up in front of me. He spread his arms like he was trying to be a wall.
サキちゃんには絶対に手を出させない。僕が守ってみせる。
つべこべ言えないように、まずは若さとわさん、あなたから始末して差し上げましょう。
His eyes narrowed and he slowly stood up from the throne. I have to do something or he's going to kill him. Better thinking, I grabbed onto Wakasa, determined to hold on. I glared as hard as I could. I'm not going to do anything, I'll stop you.
僕だって君を絶対に守ってみせる。
His arms went around me just as tightly. Our hearts raced and we clung to each other fiercely, staring the countdown. He seemed to look back and forth at us for a bit, before suddenly collapsing back on the throne.
な、 何なのこの甘酸っぱさ。あなた方の甘ったるさ、鳥肌ものです。こんなの見せられて普通に始末するだけじゃもはや飽き足らない。
What does that mean? What's he going to do?
そうだ、どうせならあなたたちはもっと面白いことに使わせてもらいましょう。私って賢い。
With a snap of his fingers, the piglets from earlier appeared and surrounded us. They wrapped a piece of fabric over our eyes and we were plunged into darkness. What are you doing to us? As soon as they finished, they hefted us on their shoulders again. Where are we going? Where are they taking us now? The world shifted and we were dumped onto a hard, cold floor. Our blindfolds were finally removed and the piglets left us. Wait, where are you going? None of them acted like they heard me. They're ignoring me.
ここはどこなんだろ
We looked around the room. There was an illuminated round stage in the middle, the only thing we could see in the dark. In the center of the stage was a large blank screen. I have no idea.
う。ワルド部、僕たちを一体どうするつもりなんだろう。それにみんなは無事なのかな。
I hope so. We haven't heard an explosion, so maybe they're still playing.
そっか。じゃあ危ないのは僕たちの方か。一体どうなっちゃうんだろう。
I didn't have an answer. Neither of us could guess what the Count had in mind.
そういえばさ。
He seemed to realize something. What is it?
僕たちがこのテーマパークに閉じ込められてもう5日目だよね。人質がたくさんいて大きな爆発も起こってるし、世間ではきっとものすごく大きなニュースになってるよね。
Yeah, this is probably big news. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Plus, I glanced at Wakasa's profile. He's a super popular singer. Everyone must be panicking.
テレビの出演予定とか全部キャンセルになってるのかな。他のメンバーにも心配かけちゃってるだろうし、申し訳ないな。でもそうでもないかな。みんな僕のことなんてそんなに気にしてないかも。最近仲悪かったし。
His voice dropped to a mumble and he sighed. Did something happen? Shifted closer, watching his face carefully.
心配してくれるのなんだか嬉しいな。
Of course, Sam, I don't like seeing you so lonely.
ありがとう。実はね、うまく笑えないんだ最近。
Feeling the... What are you talking about? Like, you're bad at smiling? Is that even a thing?
そりゃあるよ。アイドルは笑顔が大事なんだから、いつだって魅力的な笑顔でいなくちゃいけないんだ。
Yeah, you're right. I never thought about it before.
でしょ。僕も笑顔には自信あったんだけど。
You don't know.
アイドルの仕事をしてると
You don't
楽しくない時にだって
I put
無
no
理やり笑わなくちゃい
now.
け
I
ないんだ。
meant... Drop the K.
ファンの子たちは笑顔の僕を見て喜んでくれるけど、最近急にこんな嘘の笑顔でいいのかなって思っちゃって。
No one smiled all the time. It was stupid to think someone could. Pretending to smile.
メンバーはさ、作り笑顔もアイドルの仕事のうちなんだから割り切れって言うんだ。でもさ、変だよね。 みんなを笑顔にしたくてアイドルになったのに、自分が心から笑えてないなんて。そんな風に思ってたらますます笑うことができなくなっちゃって。このままだと僕アイドルをやめなきゃいけないかもしれない。
He brought this topic up before. Why was he so driven? Rokasa, why is it so important to you? You said before that you wanted to make people smile, and now you don't like having to pretend. Turn towards him with a puzzled glance.
それはね、笑顔が一番っていうのが僕にとって一番大事な言葉だからなんだ。
What do you mean? He considered for a moment before responding.
僕ね、小さい時に命を助けてもらったことがあるんだ。
They did.
そう、本当に小さな頃の話だから自分じゃ全然覚えてないんだけど、中学生になる前に母さんから教えてもらったんだ。僕の家は母一人子一人でね、母さんが女手一つでずっと育ててくれたんだけど、母さんが何かにつけてよく口にする言葉が笑顔が一番だったんだ。なんでいつもそういうのって聞いたら教えてくれたんだ。それは僕を助けてくれた女の人の最後の言葉だったんだって。
Her last words. So, what happened?
詳しいことは教えてくれなかったからわからないけど、僕に父さんがいないのもその時のことに関係があるみたい。そして僕を助けてくれた女の人はそれだから、母さんはその人のためにも笑顔が一番って言葉を大事にして生きてほしいって言ってた。今まで何気なく聞いてた母さんの口癖にそんな理由があったなんて、僕すごくびっくりしちゃって、今まで以上に笑顔を大事にしようって。
And that's why you started singing, right? You wanted to make people smile. He nodded.
でも僕は今嘘の笑顔を振りまいてる。それって僕のことを助けてくれた女の人の思いを裏切ってるんじゃないかと思ったら、なんだかうまく笑えなくなっちゃって。テレビに出てもライブでも僕だけちゃんと笑えなくて、そのせいでメンバーたちとの仲もうまくいかなくなっちゃった。歌うのは大好きなのに笑顔のことを意識しちゃうと大勢の前ではうまく声が出なくて、ライブの仕事ももう2回も休んでるんだ。
He looked down, hugging his knees. This is probably why he felt unable to continue. If you can't perform in front of people, if you can't smile, his career must be suffering.
だから今回のソロの仕事は気持ちを切り替えるいい機会だと思ってたんだけど、こんなことになっちゃった。
He turned to me with a helpless smile that only lifted one side of his mouth. I had no idea he was going through so much. His admission caught me by surprise. He was also always so cheerful, though he did scream like a girl when he was scared, which was often. He seemed so carefree, like a kid. Somehow he hid his sad past and kept a positive attitude on life. I know I saw how he was struggling, trying to live up to the standards he'd set for himself. I never thought he dealt with issues like that. You've been through a lot, I'm surprised.
普段の僕からは想像できないでしょ。だって僕子供っぽいもんね。
Well, I didn't mean...
いいよ、自分でも分かってるからさ。 なんだか君が相手だと気を使わなくていいからいろいろ喋れちゃうな。
My eyes widened and I leaned toward him. Gosh, I know what you mean. I don't know what to do around the others. This is all so different from me.
そうそう、共通の話題なんかも別にないしさ。
He read my mind. We looked at each other, then burst into giggles. Hogstein's voice reverberated through the empty room.
あなたたちと来たらちょっと目を離すすぐにピッチャーコライピッチャーコラと
That's not what we weren't. My face was on fire and I could see Wakasa out of the corner of my eye as flushed as I felt.
別にそんなことはどうでもいいんです。残念ながら今日のゲームはクリアされてしまいました。
Really?
やった。
でも明日はそうはいきません。何しろサプライズの準備が整いましたから。
サプライズって僕たちを明日の人質に使うつもり？
いえいえ、明日の人質はもう決まってます。なんだってさっきとびっきり生きのいい人質が手に入りましたからね。
Big one. Would that be? You mean Midarashi, don't you?
みたらし竜星さんが村で君まろさんの行方をかぎ回っているという報告がこの子から入りましてね。捉えていた村で君まろさんを急遽別のアトラクションにカットしたんですけど、それをみたらし竜星さんに伝えたらランドを中央無事に駆け巡り命がけで楽しませてくれましてね。そのご褒美として村で君まろさんを解放して差し上げたわけです。代わりにみたらし竜星さんを捕まえちゃいましたけどね。
You just captured him while he was by himself. You're such a coward.
今日もせったくれもありません。明日のゲームはみたらし竜星さんの命がかかった非常に楽しいものになります。
That's just don't human lives mean anything to you.
というわけであなたたちの出番は明後日です。最終日の7日目に命をかけて戦ってもらいます。
僕たちに何をさせるつもりなんだ。
その舞台にスクリーンがあるでしょ。これを使ってあなたたちが今日こにしか見えない仕掛けを施しちゃいます。
Can you do that? I could hear the grin in his voice. That meant the others would be fighting to win. With no idea their opponents were actually us.
明日と明後日仲間の命がかかった連日のサプライズ、果たして皆さんは乗り越えられますでしょうかね。
Leaving us with that horrible thought, the PA shut off. Silence filled the room.
何なんだよあいつ。
Can't believe Midarashi has been captured and Urabe was released.
とにかくぼんやりしてられないよ。外にいるみんなにこのことを伝えなきゃ。
Right, I'm gonna call Shido.
どうしたの？
My phone, it's gone. Did I drop it? Maybe when they blindfolded us.
嘘。
He quickly searched his pockets, but his phone appeared to be missing too.
本当だ。きっとワルド部に取り上げられちゃったんだ。
Oh gosh, what do we do? We have to save Midarashi and tell the others about the trick. Wakasa turned to me grim and determined.
ここから脱出しよう。流星さんのこと僕たち二人で助け出すんだ。
What?
みんなはゲームが終わったらホテルに戻るから連絡がついたとしても船から降りられない。テーマパークの中を動けるのは僕たちしかいないんだ。
He was right. Midarashi was going to be used as a hostage tomorrow. He had to be rescued tonight. Okay, let's do it.
まずここから出ないと。手分けして出口を探そう。
We stood up and started searching everywhere. I think the piglets went over here. Examining the spot where I thought the piglets had left through, I found a door hidden in the dark. Oh no. I rattled the knob, but it was definitely locked. I better look around some more. Turned towards the stage and spotted Wakasa inspecting it. His face was focused and serious. I was suddenly reminded of yesterday morning. He said that he wanted to prove himself that he could be like Midarashi. And now here he is trying to save him. Changed himself so much already. I wasn't sure if he knew how strong he was. On that night, my life ground to a halt.
すっかり遅くなっちゃったわね。
ああ、ここまで来るのにだいぶかかったな。しかしこの道に入って急に空いたな。
珍しいわね。何かあったのかしら。
どういうことだ。いつの間にか周りに車が一台も。
あなた、あれ。
バカな、なんでこんな。
どうしたの？ダメよ。二人ともお母さんの下に隠れて。まぶしい。
Oh, we're on stage 6 now. Just gonna quickly save since we're on stage 6. We scoured the whole room searching for the smallest thing that could help until we tired ourselves out. I didn't see anything.
もうどこもかしこも調べ尽くしちゃったよ。
We're never going to get out of here, are we? Mikasa rolled his neck and shoulders and sighed heavily.
ちょっと休憩しよっか。
Okay. We plopped down onto the stage, rolling over on our backs and tried to catch our breath.
今何時なんだろう。
With no windows in here and our phones taken away, there's no way to tell. Was the sun still up, or maybe the day's game was over already? We totally lost track of time. The only light in the room was coming from the ceiling, the spotlight too bright to look at for long. I squinted against the glare. My voice came out much louder than I intended.
どうしたの？
Look up there. Isn't that a ventilation duct? I pointed off to the side of the light at a large hole in the ceiling. Maybe we can get out through there.
そうか。換気用のダクトなら外まで繋がってるよね。
We nodded to each other excitedly. How do we get up there? Costa's face lit up and he rushed off.
あそこから登れるかも。こっちに来て。
I followed him around to the back side of the screen that stood up in the middle of the stage.
ほら見て、ここにデコボコになってるところがあるでしょ。これを足場にすれば天井まで登っていけると思わない？
The back of the screen definitely wasn't smooth. Pieces jutted out all the way to the top.
僕、ちょっとここを登ってみるよ。
Nearly before my mind could process it, he'd smoothly climbed to the top. Wow.
ダンスのレッスンでいつも鍛えてるから、これくらい簡単だよ。君もおいで。
He leaned over and stretched out an arm. Right. This is scary.
大丈夫。ほら、あとちょっとだよ。
Okay.
僕の手を掴んで。さあ、しっかりね。
1, 2, 3. He pulled up and somehow I scrambled up to the top with him. Thanks.
どういたしまして。よし、ここからだったらダクトに届きそうだね。行こう。
Right.
真っ暗。
No, I've seen it, but I haven't heard it yet. I will check it later on, I promise. Wow, it's totally dark in here. Climbed through the duct only to find ourselves in some sort of passage. It was pitch black inside. Four, 5, 6. Thank you for hosting, by the way. Might fall if we're not careful.
危ないから手をつないでいこうよ。
I heard some shuffling as he reached out blindly, but he managed to grab my hand. Must be scared wanting to hold my hand, it's so dark. I was so flustered that I started teasing him.
別にそんなことないって。そんな風に言うなら手なんか繋がなくていいよ。せっかく危ないと思ったから繋いだのに。
Oh no, he's mad at me. I was only kidding. Sorry, I know you were worried about me, so thanks.
それならいいけどさ。
Yeah, I'm sorry, let's hurry. I definitely missed the wrong option there. Picked the wrong option there, I should say. We walked together for a while until a speck of light finally appeared in front of us.
出口だ。行こう。
Tugged on my hand and we hurried towards the light. We made it out. Stars shone on us as we stumbled outside. I turned to look back at the attraction we'd escaped from. The lights made it look creepy in the dark. The huge sign above the entrance displayed its name.
円卓コロシアムナイツ4。それがこのアトラクションの名前なんだね。
I wonder where Midarashi is being held.
ここじゃないことは間違いなさそうだけど。
Right, Hogstein said this one was the setting for the last game. Pictured the theme park's map in my mind, ticking off the attraction names one by one. There's Samurai Fantasy, Bloodstone Hospital, Moonlight Ox, Round Table Knights Coliseum, Band Animal Family, and Alice Cart. Oh, and Bizarre Planet. Which one has Midarashi? I think I have an idea. Hogstein told us that he would use Midarashi as tomorrow's hostage. It's likely that he's stuck in one of the attractions like we were. We know that all the attractions we completed will be used for other games. We're definitely going to win the game after we rescue them. I found Wakasa at Bizarre Planet, so that leaves me with... That's where we are right now. And I think the last attraction is Banned Animal Family. Milknyte seems way too obvious. Because it's convenient that we're outside of it. I'm not being fooled again. The game did that to me before. I have a feeling it's going to be the other one. Right, I've finished choosing. Yeah, it's too obvious it'd be Colosseum Night. It's Banned Animal Family.
どうしたの？
That's gotta be where he's being held.
本当に？どうして？
We've already completed 5 attractions and there are only 2 left. Round Night Table Coliseum and Banned Animal Family. Hogstein told us this won't be used for the game on the last day, so one left is Banned Animal Family. He has to be there.
なるほど、そっか。
We need to get there as fast as we can. Our rows had passed through the plaza. I hear someone. Lights were bobbing and footsteps approached from around the corner. We froze in place.
黒子だ、こっちに隠れよ
Right. 2 piglets came into the plaza, flashlights in their hands.
う。僕たちを探してるのかな。
I think they're just patrolling. They seem kind of bored. Word probably hadn't reached them yet. This place is going to get crazy soon. I don't know if we can avoid them all, but we have to try. He gave my hand a squeeze as he nodded. He turned to me, his eyes scanning my face seriously. What is it?
君のことは僕が守るよ。僕だって流星さんみたいにちゃんと守れるから。
He looked so determined. He really was going to try and put my safety before his. My heart warmed at the thought, and an ache started in my chest. I smiled. You don't have to change yourself. You're fine as you are. I believe in you, Toa. His eyes widened and his eyebrows shot up into his hair.
僕を僕のままで。
Of course. He worried his lip as his eyes darted quickly back and forth deep in thought.
そうだったんだ。
He nearly shouted before he remembered we were in hiding. What?
僕、3日目の夜に君を助けられなくて悔しかったのは弱虫な自分が嫌だからだと思ってたんだ。だから流星さんみたいに強くなりたいって願った。でも違ったんだ。
What do you mean?
僕は本当は流星さんが君を助けたことが悔しかったんだ。流星さんみたいになりたいんじゃなくて、僕自身の手で君を助けたかったんだ。
His ears turned a little pink. As he scratched his head, he glanced shyly at me.
僕ね、恋愛とかって全然したことないから、自分の気持ちに気づくのにこんなに時間がかかっちゃった。
Did he say love? You mean?
僕ね、なんだか君のことを好きになっちゃったみたい。
Oh.
流星さんが言ってたよね。誰かのために頑張ることで強くなれるって。もし本当にそうなら、僕は君の笑顔を守るために頑張りたいんだ。
I'm special to him, me? Oh god, which one's positive or negative? They both don't sound very good. Like... I'd say hold on sounds a bit more positive than just but, with a trail off. What are you saying? I was stuttering, tripping over my words, my heart thundered in my chest, and I couldn't think. He grinned at my total, obvious flailing.
どうかな、僕。
Do I like him? Feels that way about me. I guess we've gotten close. I see how hard he was working to change himself. He's deeper than people gave him credit for. He had to deal with so much in his life, so many experiences shaped him. After all we've been through, I've come to care for him a lot. It's too fast, I don't even know if this feeling is the same as his. As much as I want to, I can't give him an answer.
迷ってる。
Well...
いいよ、返事は今じゃなくても。こんな時だし、それにいきなりだったもんね。流星さんを助け出すことができたら答えを聞かせて。
Alright, I promise. My nod was a little wobbly, and he smiled happily in response.
ねえ、そういえばさっきようやく初めて名前で呼んでくれたよね。
Oh, I did, I called him Toa. It felt so natural before, but now that he brought it up, I was embarrassed. I don't know why I said it, it just came out, I'm sorry. God damn, I keep knocking my headphones.
これからも僕のこと名前で呼んで。君に名前で呼んでもらうのすごく嬉しいから。
Alright. My cheeks warm, I nodded. We should probably get going. Ready, Toa? As we rushed off, it felt like we were just getting closer, trusting each other with our lives. There were piglets all over the place, more often than not. We had to keep to the shadows and wait for them to pass. Somehow we made it to band animal family without being spotted. If my hunch is right, Mitarashi has to be here. As I studied the entrance, I noticed the sky was getting lighter. The sun's coming up.
ゲームが始まるまでに流星さんを助け出さなきゃ。
I couldn't agree with him more. Oh man, why does a piglet have to be here? It stood in front of the door, blocking it, and was looking around.
そうだね。あいつの気をそらせないかな。あ、そうだ。
What are you doing?
見てて。
He leaned over and picked up a small rock. He wound up and threw it over a group of trees in the distance. Piglet rushed over to the suspicious noise. That old classic.
今だよ、行こう。
He grabbed my hand. Piglet's not watching the door now. Nice job. We ran as fast as we could through the entrance. At the end of the dark hallway there was a large room. Chairs and instruments littered the whole area, and a big screen hung in the back. My breathing was loud in the silence, and there was no one else here.
ここスタジオみたいだね。
I don't like the fact that there's weights above those instruments. Really?
歌の録音はこういうスタジオでするんだ。
He glanced around absent-mindedly, not really looking at anything.
もしこのテーマパークから出られたら、今度はうまく歌えるといいな。僕を待ってくれてるファンのために、ちゃんと笑顔で歌いたいんだ。
My heart lurched painfully. Oh yeah, I forgot he's a famous singer. He must have thousands of adoring fans. Is he even allowed to love someone like me? Our worlds are so different. A leaden weight settled in my stomach. My happy mood faded. No, this isn't important right now. Fighting Midarashi is. I don't see anything that could help us in here. Maybe the next room has something.
そうだね。流星さん、どこにいるんだろう。
We opened the door and went deeper into the attraction. The next room had several large costumes hanging up, and I could see some fitting rooms in the back.
ここは衣装部屋みたいだね。
This has got to be interesting. We split up and searched some more, but Midarashi wasn't there.
ここにもいない。一体どこに。
What's wrong? Put his finger up to his mouth.
何か聞こえる。
What?
こっちだ。
Toa quietly approached the door in the back and pressed his ear up against it.
やっぱり声が聞こえる。この先に誰かいるみたい。隣の部屋に行ってみよう。
Right. He grabbed the doorknob, turning it silently. Flights of stairs led outside to an area with a round stage. Is this the roof?
そうみたいだね。
Over on the stage,
くそ、俺をこんなところに縛り付けてどうするつもりだ、豚野郎。
流星さん。
tied up to the support beam of the large screen on the stage, was Midarashi.
あそこだ。行こう。
Let's hurry. Bolted over to him, his eyes widening when he spotted us.
お前ら、なんでここに。
流星さんのこと助けに来たんだ。
Scrambling behind him, we attempted to untie the ropes.
ありがとよ。まさかお前たちが助けに来るとは思わなかったぜ。
ワルド部。
Count's voice echoed all around us. Piglet suddenly appeared at the stairs. We were surrounded. They started closing in.
くそ。
We didn't have time to free Midarashi. We were going to get captured again.
おい、待ちな。
His voice was very commanding. Piglets were so surprised they froze in place.
おい、ワルド部。このままこいつらを捕まえちまうってのもちょっと芸がないと思わねえか。ここは一つ俺たちの運命をかけてゲームをしようじゃねえか。
Hogstein scoffed.
それは興味深い。
何言ってんだ。それを考えるのがてめえの役目だろ。ちった頭使えよ。
To get that mad when someone talks back to him. He's not even going to give us a chance. Right, up until every part I've never gotten mad at Hogstein, because if we do it makes things worse, I've noticed, so that's what I've at least come down to the conclusion of. So I'm going to restrain. I'm not taking the bait. No, I shouldn't say anything. Mitarashi's got it. I stayed silent and just watched.
そもそもこのゲームを仕組んだのはてめえだろうが。だったら即興で面白いゲームの一つや二つ考えてみやがれ。
わかりましたよ。考えればいいんでしょ。
わかればいいんだよ。ほら、とっとと考えやがれ。
どうしましょうかね。ここはライブステージ。そしてここにはアイドルが一人。あ、そうだ。
Did you think of a game?
いや、私ですね。実は少年時代ジュニアのファンなのです。そんなわけで、ちょうど手元に音源があることですし、まずは若狭とわさんに一曲歌っていただきましょう。
A junior boy's song started playing out of nowhere.
今からもう歌うの？
He scrambled to the center of the stage and grabbed a microphone, and then started to sing. For the next couple of minutes I was totally stunned. Oh really? I have that honor. That's really cool. For the next couple of minutes I was totally stunned. With no preparation, Toro immediately began moving to the beat, singing from memory. Every single step and note was smooth and strong. His performance and singing were captivating. He was definitely famous for a reason. When he finished, I couldn't help clapping until my hands hurt. That was so amazing.
やるじゃねえか、とは。
Mitarashi seemed pretty impressed.
さすがアイドル。いや、いいものを聞かせてもらいました。パーフェクトです。
当たり前でしょ。本職のアイドルをなめないでよ。
何を言ってるんですか。ゲームはこれから。はい、スクリーンオン。
The large screen instantly turned on.
これは。
His eyes widened, and possibly on the screen were more people than I could count.
たった今、ベクトのライブ会場をジャックしました。
ライブ会場ジャックだって？なんでそんなことを？
His eyes narrowed in confusion. He stared at the live image in front of him. The audience suddenly recognized who they were seeing, and the roar that came from the screen was overwhelming.
若狭とわさんには、今から大勢の観客の前で笑顔で歌っていただきます。
笑顔。
That's devious. Toa froze, his face going blank. Mitarashi just looked confused.
笑顔でって。あいつ、なんでわざわざそんなことを。
Oh. He'd been listening in on our conversation.
メンバーはさ、作り笑顔もアイドルの仕事のうちなんだから割り切れって言うんだ。でもさ、変だよね。みんなを笑顔にしたくてアイドルになったのに、自分が心から笑えてないなんて、そんな風に思ってたらますます笑うことができなくなっちゃって このままだと僕アイドルをやめなきゃいけないかもしれない。
Does that mean that he knows?
なんだ何か心当たりがあんのか。
Toa told me some of it before. Smiling is really important to him, but in front of the crowds he's been faking it. It makes him panic and then he can't sing. He had to back out of 2 concerts already.
なんだとワルド部のやつそれを知ってて言ってやがらぬか。
His body shook with barely contained rage. Toa didn't even notice, but he was frozen in place on stage, his face pale. The audience in front of him was excited, but the pressure had to be overwhelming.
チャンスは3回ありましょう。笑顔がなくてはダメ。歌詞も間違えてもダメ。さっきと同じくパーフェクトになってください。それができたらみたらし人生を助けるのを見逃してあげます。それでは臨時ゲームスタート。
The song started up immediately. You can do it. The smile he was giving the crowd was stiff and awkward. The difference in performance was startling, as if he'd forgotten how to follow the beats. Which step came next? He opened his mouth, but his voice was so weak, by the end of his first line, it faded to nothing.
おやおや、どうしたのですか？ゲームはもう始まってるんですよ。
トアしっかりしろ。お前ならやれる。歌え。
Nothing seemed to get through to him. He's not snapping out of it. He's only got 2 more tries. How can I help him? Go for it. He heard my voice and turned. I was surprised to see tears he'd gathered in his eyes. Come on, I know you can beat this. My heart felt like it was breaking seeing him act like that. It was almost a physical ache.
Toa! 歌え!
The song played again, but he was clearly unable to sing a single note. Didn't even bother to hide the glee in his voice. What can I do? He's the only one who has to sing. I can't let him take all the pressure. We're in this together. What must he do to be able to smile? Early before the screen turned on, he was a pro. His performance was perfect. Had a smile, not a fake one, but a real, true smile. I desperately racked my brain. Way back at the hotel, he put on that little show for Mai. He looked like he was enjoying himself, even with her there watching. Just a bit ago, he didn't have any problems in front of Midarashi. He sang and danced for someone both times, so why can't he do it now? If he felt that way earlier, oh, I know. I dashed up to the screen and caught his eye. Try to have fun with it. Don't worry about everyone watching, just sing because you love it. Remember what you told me. Enjoy yourself and your smile will come on its own. His eyes widened. I leaned forward to whisper in his ear. I love your singing the most when you're having fun. Good luck, I believe in you, Toa. I stepped back and away off the stage. The song restarted.
歌うことを楽しむ。
He closed his eyes and took a deep, slow breath. Remember, the moment his eyes opened, his expression completely changed. Cheerful, fun-loving guy I knew was there in front of me. Alright. Completely immersed in his singing, his voice relaxed, his steps never missing a beat, he was smiling. A huge scream came from the audience. They were going nuts over his performance. He has them all in the palm of his hand, amazing. I felt like I was on the edge of a cliff. I couldn't tear my eyes away. His smile was doing crazy things to my insides. My heart felt like it was in my throat. I couldn't ignore my attraction anymore. This must be... I cut myself off before I could finish that thought. You're everyone's Toa. You belong to all of them. As if he sensed my thoughts, he turned his head to look at me. His blinding smile was just for me, taking my breath away. You're cracking me up in the chat, by the way, Waldy, with emotes. I can't fight this feeling. Actually, hold on. I can one up that. Now we're talking about eating things. As the song ended, the crowd applauded wildly, screaming and cheering. The screen turned off.
やった！クリアだ！
Congrats. It does, doesn't it? Like, the Komodo hype's trying to eat him and he's like trying to run away in fear. It's a pity I can't like turn it round. Like from the customization thing. I quickly ran up and hugged him tightly. You were perfect, you couldn't have done it better. His hug was just as fierce.
君が教えてくれたおかげだよ。歌うことを楽しめばいいって。
You probably won't have problems with your smiling now, right?
もう大丈夫。
I'm glad. He leaned even closer and softly whispered in my ear. Oh, that's right, we've rescued Midarashi. I already knew in my reply, my heart was set. I looked straight into his eyes. I'd love to be with you, Toa. Having a famous boyfriend wasn't going to be easy, but I definitely wanted to try. My feelings were too strong not to. His smile stretched from ear to ear. He gently touched foreheads with mine.
よかった。大好きだよ。これからずっと君のこと大事にするね。
Pulled me even closer, the final inches between us gone, our lips met in a light feathery kiss. These feelings, I love him so much.
暑いねお二人さん。
ちょっとちょっと、そこならそこまで。
Hogstein's gonna be salty. Hogstein's grumpy voice caused us to jump apart.
そうだ。まだ流星さんの縄も解いてなかった。
Right. We rushed up and freed him, a little guiltily.
ありがとうよ。 やっと自由になれたぜ。
He rolled his shoulders a few times to stretch the stiff muscles.
じゃあな、ワルド部。俺たちは行くぜ。
What?
このまま出て行かれたら今日と明日のサプライズがなくなっちゃうじゃないですか。
何言ってるんだよ。僕はゲームをクリアしたんだ。当然の権利でしょ。
そういうことだ。じゃあな。
待って、確かに約束通りみたらし龍神様が救うのは見逃しました。ですから今ここであなたにあなたたちを捕まえてもそれは何の問題もないはず。
てめえ、だらだらくだらねえヘリクスこねやがって。男らしくねえぞ。
うるさい。あなた方の提案に乗って人気ゲームを開催してあげただけでもありがたいと思いなさい。
Elf on the shelf. What? You'd be so selfish it made my blood boil and a voice came out louder and higher than I expected.
二人とも心配すんな。
A hard black object suddenly appeared in his hand.
俺たちにはこいつがある。
You can do so much with the Komodo hyper emote. It's kind of crazy.
それ拳銃？
Hold on, there was one more that I saw just now. There we go.
おうよ。
He pointed it towards the piglets.
こいつは浦部を助け出すために指導から借りた本物だ。脱出を邪魔するやつはこいつでズドンだぜ。
Piglets shuffled back in fear.
そんなのずるいですよ。飛び道具を出してくれなんて。
ずるいのはどっちだ。てめえはそこで俺たちが脱出するのをハンカチ噛みしめながら眺めてろ。よし行くぞ。ここから脱出するんだ。
Right. Huxley's voice chased after us as we ran for the stairs.
仲間のところには帰らせませんからね。覚えてろよ。
The apples. We stopped for a breath after finally making it outside.
大丈夫？
He looked at me concerned, but he hadn't let go of my hand the entire time we were escaping. Yeah, we were together, so I wasn't scared.
よかった。
なんだと。すっかり男の顔になったじゃねえか。
Gone was the scare kid, now he looked confident and pleased at the compliment. Midarashi gave me a sly glance at the corner of his eye.
笑顔を守りたい相手を見つけたってことだ。
He didn't even hesitate. My heart fluttered, and I couldn't help smiling.
そうか。よし。その手を離すなよ。ここを離れるぞ。
分かってる。絶対離さないよ。
Gun in hand, Midarashi led us away from the attraction. We stopped in front of Alice's cart. The sun was high in the sky. Today's game was due to start soon.
追っ手はまだないみたいだな。
He scanned the surroundings for signs of a chase, but must not have found any. There we go.
これからどうしよう。
We took cover in the deep shadows of a large tree and began planning our next move.
ああ、 とりあえずホテルが着岸するまで待って指導たちと合流するが。
Toa shook his head.
ワルドブーのさっきの感じだと僕たちがみんなと合流するのを絶対に邪魔してくるよ。
Yeah, he'd expect us to go there.
それにもし合流できても僕たちのゲーム復帰は認めてもらえないと思う。
確かにな。それじゃあ明日の最後のゲームが終わるまでこのランドの中で何とかして逃げ切るか。
うん。
Do you have an idea?
僕たちで人質を助けに行こう。
なんだと。
僕たちがこのまま逃げ切れば明日のゲームにはきっと最初から捕まってる人たちが使われるよね。ワルドブーならみんなを動揺させるために全員の命を懸けるくらいのことは言い出しかねないよ。
確かにあいつならやりかねね
僕たちがゲームに戻れなくても手助けはできる。人質を解放してみんなが戦いやすいようにしたいんだ。
Midarashi stared at him, looking rather stunned. He blinked a few times.
お前。
何？
あ、いや驚いたぜ。一皮むけたな。
He raised his fist, laughing. Toa bumped it with his own. Oh, they bro-fisted. Oh, chocolate. Komodo eating chocolate seems good, man. I think it seemed they had a bond there where they considered each other equals. I'm kind of jealous.
もうじき今日のゲームが始まっちまうな。今のうちにみんなに連絡を入れとくか。
Pulled out a cell phone.
あれ、流星さんは携帯電話を没収されなかったの？
おいおい、ホストが携帯を一つしか持ってないわけないだろ。
He grinned. Is that how they do things at his club?
おい、指導か。俺だ。
The others were filled in pretty quickly.
ってわけで、俺たちは今から人質を救出してくるぜ。ワルドブーの野郎の好きにはさせねえ。上がってる。無理はしねえよ。あ？なるほどな。わかった。ありがとう。じゃあ、後で会おうぜ。
What did he say?
お、あっちじゃ浦部が目を覚ましたらしい。あいつしか知らないワルドブータワーへの入り方を教えてくれたぜ。
本当に浦部さんも元気なんだね。よかった。
A secret way in would definitely help us.
ああ、俺たちが目指す人質の囚われたワルドブータワーだ。虎穴にいらずんば孤児を得ずってやつだな。
Toa's eyes widened.
へえ、流星さんでもそんな言葉知ってるんだね。
なんだとてめえ。
怒らないでよ。だってそんな柄じゃないんだもん。
Midarashi grumbled, but I can tell they were just goofing around. It was so cute. He does have a point, though. As I laughed, I felt all the remaining tension leave my body. We formed a plan and contacted the others. Now it seemed everything was finally catching up to me.
眠いの？
Oh, sorry, I'm pretty pooped.
実は僕もちょっと。何しろ昨日から徹夜だもんね。
He was barely keeping his eyes open. All those performances today was to warn him out.
よし、人質奪還作戦の決行は今日の深夜だ。とりあえずは体を休めることにしようぜ。
It's so tiny. What, the boat? Actually, I could probably do that, couldn't I, if I wanted? We all nodded and headed off to find somewhere safe to rest until nightfall. Another locket scene.
お父さん、痛いわ。ねえ。お父さん、お母さん、起きてよ。ねえ。
Just a dream. But now it's time for the final act. Just watch. We're going to carry on pushing on because it seems we're coming to the end game now. What was that? It was a locket scene. They seem to be happening between acts. It's part of a, like I said, a secondary narrative. We're probably gonna get like an end conclusion to it when we get to the end of this chapter, I'm assuming. Toa was right by my side. When I blearily opened my eyes, I nodded.
調子はどう？
My legs don't feel like they'd fall off anymore. How about you?
僕もすっかり元気。ここが見つかってよかったよね。
He glanced around, found one of the park's storage rooms open and locked it from the inside so we could catch up on our sleep. I wasn't 100% yet, but I felt loads better than before.
お、起きたか。
あ、流星さん、外はどうだった？
ああ、黒子がそこら中にいて、俺たちのことを探してやがる。
そっか。
ただ、東側の方は比較的黒子の数が少なかった。そっちから回り込めば、なんとか見つからずに行けるかもしれねえ。そっちから慎重に回り込んで、ワルドブータワーに向かおうぜ。
わかった。
cautiously stepped outside and headed off in an eastern direction. We stopped for a breather outside Samurai Fantasy after successfully avoiding the search parties as far as we could tell.
なんとかここまで来たが、問題はここからだな。
ワルドブータワーの前にはきっとすごい人数の黒子がいるよね。
ああ、普通に乗り込みゃ捕まっちまうだろうな。大人数で来られたらいくら銃を持っててもひとたまりもないぜ。
Shoot, what do we do now?
よし、
He nodded decisively.
これから俺が黒子たちをできるだけ引きつけて、お前たち二人でタワーに忍び込んで人質を助けるんだ。
そんな、それじゃ流星さんが危ないよ。
Right, there's too many, you'll get hurt. We begged and pleaded with him, but Mitarashi just smiled.
俺なら大丈夫だ。信じろ。
But
もう時間もねえんだ。これが一番確実な手段なんだよ。
he looked at both of us in the eye. He did have a point.
そうだね。
I promise we won't give up until we rescue everyone.
よし。じゃあこいつを持ってけ。
He pulled the gun from his pocket.
これは。
俺は逃げ回るだけだからな。なんかあったらお前が使え。
He placed the gun gently into Toa's hand. The two bumped fists.
よし。じゃあ俺が広場に向かってしばらくしたらお前たちも来い。
わかった。流星さん、気をつけて。
なあ、お前たちもな。
He headed off in a sprint towards the castle. As soon as the piglets spotted him, they gave chase. Do you think he'll be okay?
流星さんなら大丈夫。信じよう。
Right. We stayed hidden for a while longer to let him get some distance.
僕たちもそろそろ行こうか。
Yes. The diversion seemed to have worked because we made it to the plaza with no problems. It was completely empty. Mitarashi had somehow gotten all of them to chase him. We're running out of time. The sky was still dark, but every minute that ticked was one less that we had to get to the hostages. Illuminated by lights, the imposing castle appeared to have transformed into the lair of an evil demon. Gosh, this place looks totally different at night. We were going to break into this castle. I couldn't stop. A shiver up my spine.
大丈夫だよ。
Holding my hand tightly, he gave it an extra squeeze. He's still supporting me. When you're with me, I feel like I can take on anything. I squeezed back, his hand warm and strong, gave me a strength and courage.
二人で人質を救出しよう。
Yes, we are. We looked at each other and nodded.
黒子だ。
A group of piglets suddenly appeared from inside. Did they spot us? Instead of turning in our direction, they ran off away from us. Mitarashi must be driving them crazy. With them gone, maybe the castle's empty.
そうだね。よし、今がチャンスだ。行こう。
Let's go. Quickly ran up to the side of the castle and rapidly scanned the walls near the door. Arabe told us there was a button hidden in the design that would open the door from the outside.
あった。 これだ。
I was waiting for that combination. He pointed to a small nub in among the cracks. He pressed down on it. The large door swung open. Holding our breath, we snuck in as silently as we could. The throne room was silent, nothing moved. Look. I could see the covered cage in the back. The hostages should still be in there.
ワルドブーもいない。
I slowly stepped across the room, expecting something to jump out of the shadows at any moment. I lifted the sheet covering the cage, and all the hostages turned to look at us in surprise.
よかった。みんな無事だ。
Hi. There was my uncle as soon as he spotted me. His face turned to one of disbelief.
さっき
I'm so glad you're okay.
ああ俺は大丈夫だお前もよく無事で
Gripped each other's arms through the bars, grinning in relief. He didn't look hurt, but he was definitely worn out. Toa was examining the lock on the cage.
皆さん、今から檻を開けます。
But how the lock?
こうするんだ。
Pulled out the gun and aimed.
危ないから下がって。
Hostages jumped back immediately. I quickly stepped away too. With a loud noise, the lock shattered.
皆さん静かに。黒子たちがいつ戻ってくるか分かりません。騒がずに静かにここから逃げてください。
Everyone filed out silently. All of their faces were drawn tight with tension. They weren't off the hook yet. Please stay safe. The last person to exit the cage was my uncle. I practically flew to him. We hugged each other tightly.
本当に無事でよかった
I was really worried about you. I realized I was crying. I was finally able to save him. A ball of stress I'd buried deep and forgotten suddenly disappeared. My uncle gently stroked my hair, holding me close.
ありがとう二人とも一緒にここから脱出しよ
Almost as one, Toa and I shook our heads.
うどうしてだ
Can't go yet, I'm sorry.
仲間がまだ戦ってるんです。僕たちも最後まで戦います。
しかし
Don't worry, we've made it this far, okay? I trust everyone, we can handle it. I looked him straight in the eye, willing him to understand.
サキちゃんのことは僕が必ず守ります。安心してください。
He stood there, his shoulders straightened, his eyes focused. He sounded so determined. A few moments passed as my uncle stood at him.
そうか分かったお前たちが自分の信じる者のために戦うなら俺は応援するよ頑張るんだ
Thank you.
はい。
二人ともどうか無事で
He crushed me in a hug again and held on as long as he could before he pulled away.
それじゃあ先に行くよ
Be careful. Silence overtook the room again.
さて、人質も解放できたし、
It's strange that he isn't here.
ワルドブーがいたら銃で脅してゲームを中止させようと思ってたのに。
He climbed the stairs and approached the throne. Geez, where is he?
どうしたの？
I think there's something back here. There was a small alcove hidden behind the curtain. The far side held a metal door. Is that an elevator?
ワルドブーがいるかもしれない。行ってみよう。
We ducked behind the curtain and stood in front of the elevator. I guess it only stops here or at the roof. The door opened as soon as the button was pushed. We nodded to each other for courage and stepped inside. The elevator door slid on to reveal a small room. Still no Hogstein. The room is completely empty, I sighed.
なんだか気が抜けちゃったな。
Plopped down on the floor, dejected, I sank down next to him. Gosh, suddenly I feel all wobbly. I wonder if Mitarashi's alright.
少し休憩したら助けに行こう。
We settled back to back, supporting each other. I felt his warmth soak into me, and his heartbeat was steady. He stretched out his arm and gently took my hand. I threaded my finger with his. Being here with him, I feel so relaxed.
それにしても僕自分の考えでこんなに頑張ったのは初めてだよ。
He stepped up and faced down everything in the park and Hogstein had thrown at him. He'd really come into his own over the past few days. He'd been pretty amazing.
そうかな。
He came up with good plans and rescued the hostages. I'm glad you're here. I could tell even without looking that he was smiling.
君にそう言われるとすごく嬉しい。
It's all true. Thank you for everything. I felt him shift as he turned towards me.
じゃあご褒美をちょうだい。
Sure. My heart thundered in my chest, but I didn't hesitate to turn to face him, my eyes drifting closed. Before my eyes shut, I spotted something over Toa's shoulder. My surprise must have shown in my face as he became alarmed.
どうしたの？
There.
はっ！
I'm inaudible. Hey, I could do it, you never know. No, I'd have to have more tone to my voice if I was to do audible. Like different tones for each character and stuff. Although narrating it is quite fun in a sense. Well, I'm not really narrating, I'm just narrating what the character's saying and any of her thoughts or whatever. Hogstein was watching us from the shadows, his head hovering near the floor by a table.
くそ、こんなところにいたのか、ワルド部。
He quickly stood up and pushed me behind him. He didn't respond.
あれ？
Why isn't he moving? We hesitantly walked up to him. Toa reached out and touched his head. It rolled onto the floor.
なんだこれ？ワルド部の着ぐるみじゃないか。
Well, it was kind of obvious it was a costume all this time along, really. I've never really heard of a world with humanoid pigs in them. But hey, you know. Then Hogstein's not in it right now.
そうかもしれない。あいつ着ぐるみをここに置いてどこに行ったんだろう。
I've got a bit of a wild theory, but I've got a feeling it might have been... No, it'd be too obvious. I was going to say it could be Arabi, but like, no, it wouldn't make sense. Because who was Hogstein when Arabi was with us? The elevator hummed into life and began returning to the ground floor.
誰かここに来るのかも。隠れよう。
We scurried behind a pillar and pressed ourselves as far back into the shadows as we could. The elevator door pinged in Hogstein, and a piglet stepped out. Hogstein, his outfit's right here. My eyes widened, my head snapping to Toa to see him staring back. We both nearly gasped. We immediately covered the other's mouth. Stunned, we huddled together. The Count approached, a gun in his hand.
まったく人質に逃げられちゃったらダメでしょ。
He conked the piglet on the head with his fist. Wait. His voice sounded different, younger.
腹が減ったから逃がしちゃったじゃないよ。お前もワルドブーなんだからしっかりしろよ。
He Clearly exacerbated, he bonked the piglet on the head again.
とりあえずホスト捕まえに行ってきて。俺は警報を鳴らして黒子に人質捕まえさせるからさ。
Vaseline Oreos. Those are definitely not some Oreos I'd want to be eating. He pressed down on the skull that hung around his neck.
それじゃあよろしく。この銃持って行っていいからさ。
So it's a voice changer, basically. His voice reverted back to the one we recognised. That skull must be the voice changer. The piglet scrambled into the costume we'd found behind the table earlier. What in the world is going on? There are 2 counts and one's really a piglet. Our minds are whirled with questions. We watched as the piglet that now looked like Hogstein entered the elevator. Finally alone, he briskly walked up to the desk and reached for a red button on the console there. That must be the alarm. If he pushed that, the piglets would go after the hostages and they'd never escape. Toe must have realised the same thing because he abruptly jumped out from behind the pillar. He looked surprised to see us and especially surprised to see a gun pointed at him.
それが警報のボタン。それを押したら撃つよ。
Huxley slowly raised his hands in the air.
まさかあなたたちがこんなところまで入り込んでいるとは。
何もかもが自分の予想通りになるなんて思わない方がいいよ。
真実に近づけるとすればシラでありなさいぐらいかと思ってましたが、全く違う形でここまで迫ってくるなんて。
ごたくはいいよ。今日のゲーム中止してくれるかな。
Even though he was clearly not in control of the situation, Hogstein shook his head.
それはできませんね。ゲームは何があっても開催します。それよりもいいんですか。もう一人のワルドブーがみたらし竜星さんを探しに来ましたよ。もしみたらし竜星さんが見つかったら。
Pointing his hand like a gun, he pretended to fire, then blew imaginary smoke off the end. We have to go help him.
でもその前に。
He pointed the gun. A gunshot echoed off the wall, a bullet stuck in the console. Sparks flew off the panel, shorted out. None of the buttons would work now.
わしゃなんてことを。
行こう。流星さんを助けに。
Right. After a tense moment waiting for the elevator to return, we left, and Hogstein just watched us go. The sky was already brightening when we stepped outside. The plaza was empty, and since the alarm panel was broken, no sirens would go off anytime soon. I wonder if the hostages got out okay.
黒子が人質を捕まえたらここに連れてくるはずだし、いないってことは大丈夫だと思うよ。
Then we just need to worry about Mitarashi. We have no idea where he is. The park was so huge, we didn't have phones. It was like finding a needle in a haystack.
そうだ、いいこと考えた。
What?
見てて。
He pointed the gun up over his head and fired. What are you doing?
隠れよ。こっちに来て。
He grabbed my hand and pulled me behind the corner of the castle. Within seconds, an overwhelming number of piglets came running out of the forest and into the plaza. I don't understand.
黒子がどこから出てくるのか見たかったんだ。あいつら流星さんを追いかけてるからね。全員あっちの森から出てきたってことは、流星さんは今森の中を逃げてるはず。
You're right, that was a great idea.
ありがとう。さあ、行こう。
Yeah. We skirted around the plaza, keeping to the shadows, and hurried into the forest. The gunshot must have drawn nearly all of them because we didn't come across any as we went deeper. Suddenly the trees thinned and we reached a clearing. In the middle was a small storage shed.
止まって。あそこにワルドブーと黒子がいる。
We hid behind some trees and watched as we approached the door to the shed, which was surrounded by piglets.
したら新入生さんそこに隠れてるのは分かってるんですよ。おとなしく出てきてください。
バカ野郎、撃たれるのが分かってんのにのこのこ出てくやつがいるかよ。
It's him.
あの中にいるならひとまず安心だけど。
おやおや、いいんですかね。もしあなたが出てこないなら捕まえた若さドアさんと依頼人のサキさんを始末しちゃいますよ。
あいつ
He was using us as a bargaining chip and lied straight to his face. Don't believe him. A couple of moments later, the door to the shed opened and Mitarashi stepped out. He stared down the camp, glaring. When the gun was pointed at him, he raised his hands.
これでいいだろう。トアたちは解放してやれ。
まずは逃げられないようにあなたの両足を打ち抜かせてもらいましょうかね。
I think here it's appropriate that we actually get mad if we just restrain ourselves. Also, what's stopping Toa from shooting him head on? But yeah, it does get you dehydrated. You can probably tell my voice is a bit dry. If we get mad, something's gonna happen, like badly. I can just see it. But if we restrain, Tsuraki's gonna get hurt. Unless Toa does something at last minute. Yeah, insert Minecraft water sipping sound. I'm just gonna have to believe in Toa, hope that he does something. Because I've got a feeling we're gonna make the situation worse if we do. I mean, I may be double thinking it, but I feel like that's kind of how the game is right now. Yeah, I'm thinking restrain. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll try and stay consistent. Want to give them a piece of our mind, but lives are in danger.
ちょっと待った。
Yeah, we believe. Yeah, Toa. We had to believe in Toa. We jumped out from behind the tree. Hochstein spun around to find himself at gunpoint.
ワルド部、嘘は良くないな。僕たちはこの通り無事だし、人質は全員逃がしたよ。
Our appearance seemed to be a surprise as he groaned in frustration. Behind him, Mitarashi grinned.
よくやったぜ、二人とも。
Crouched as he spoke, but now he'd launched himself forward. Hochstein hastily shot at him, but it went wildly, only grazing his coat. With a terrifying yell, Mitarashi drove his fist into the pig's head. Oh man, screenshot this. This is satisfying. Finally, that POS is finally getting what's coming to him. The blow threw him to the ground so hard he actually bounced. He didn't so much as twitch after that.
あっけねえ野郎だぜ。
Practically one punch manned him, or one punch manned him. Dismissing any future threat from that direction, he jogged up to us.
流星さん。
ここ危ねえ。
One
行くぞ、
punch,
二人と
one
も。
punch man, yeah. Basically hit him like one punch man. Right. We took off running, leaving the panicking piglets behind to fend for themselves. We barreled through the woods and flew past Alice Carter without as much as a glance. Somehow, we reached banned animal family without getting caught by the piglets in the area.
ここも突っ切るぞ。
流星さん、どこに行くつもり？このままゲームが終わるまで走り続けるのは無理だし、ランドの中には安全な場所なんてないんだよ。
He had a point. The last game's going to start soon, but it won't be over for 7 hours. How can we make it that long without getting caught? But Mitarashi just grinned, never breaking his stride.
いや、あるぜ。ワールド部にちょっかいを出されない場所がたった一つだけな。
Where?
そりゃな、ホテルだ。
ホテル？
思い出したんだよ。俺がゲームから離脱した4日目にホテルで黒子と一悶着起こして思わず投げ飛ばしちまった。
え？
Isn't that against the rules?
ああ、その通りだ。でもな、ワールド部から通信は入らないまま見逃されたのさ。ってことはホテルは奴の監視下に置かれてないってことじゃねえか。
You know, we never did hear from Hogstein while we were there.
それに陸から離れちゃえばここにいるより安全かもしれない。
ああ、ホテルが岸から離れちまったらおしまいだ。
We looked at each other and pushed our tired bodies to go faster.
なんとか乗れたな。
That was close. We reached the dock right as the ship was pulling away, and by some stroke of luck we were able to get on board. We were all gasping for breath. The park was huge and we'd been running full tilt.
あれ、お姉ちゃんたち。
My, she grinned down she grinned down at us, sprawled out all over the floor where we collapsed completely exhausted.
おかえりなさい。すごいいっぱい走ってきたの？
Yeah, we played tag on our way back. We were pretty tired.
マイ、お水持ってこようか？
That'd be great, thanks. It was hard to believe we were running for our lives a few minutes ago. It was like night and day. I was more than willing to just lay on the floor until I spotted a piglet out of the corner of my eye. I froze. It didn't seem to know what was going on, just curious. It does look like they'll hurt us.
今は何も知らねえのかもな。だが情報が来ればすぐに敵になるぜ。
He handed it over. Mitarashi lazily swung his arm up and pointed it at the nearest piglet.
おい、この船にいる黒子を全員集めろ。さっさとしやがれ。
His glare was so fierce, the piglet jumped to obey instantly, summoning the rest of them.
流星さん、この黒子をどうするの？
なあ、見てろ。おい、これで全員だな。
A sea of heads nodded. Mitarashi flashed a grin.
よし。じゃあお前ら全員、
Clever.
今すぐ川に飛び込め。騒ぐなって。死にゃしねえよ。ほら、とっとと行け。撃たれるよりマシだろ。
What, you want to be a praying mantis for Halloween? Faced with the possibility of a bullet, their decision was already made. They all tumbled into the river.
ねえねえ、黒い豚さんたち、お水遊びしてるの？
お、そうだぜ。ほら、見てみろ。楽しそうに泳いでるだろ。
Two of them leaned over the edge and watched them flounder, completely unconcerned. I don't.
もう相変わらず無茶苦茶な人だな。
これでワルド部に関わる存在はもうここにはいねえ。一番の安全地帯ってわけだ。
確かにそうだけど。
ま、終わりよければ全てよしだ。お前ら、ここまで本当によく頑張ったな。俺が？ 一度船ってのを操縦してみたかったんでな。このままクルージングとしゃれ込むぜ。
Mai was hanging on his every word, her eyes wide.
流星お兄ちゃん、お船の運転するの？
Oh, what have you done?
お、一緒に来るか？
舞、お兄ちゃんと一緒にお船の運転する。
よし、じゃあ一緒にクルージングだ。俺のことは今から船長と呼べ。
流星お兄ちゃん船長。
じゃあな、二人ともいい夢見ろよ。
おやすみなさい。
Hand in hand, the two of them walked off to the pilot house.
まったく流星さんはとことんやんちゃだな。
He's so ooish. Who is that?
あ
Oh,
く
we're
びが出て
yawning.
る
I
よ。
couldn't tell if that was supposed to be us yawning. You are too. Should we take a rest, huh?
そうだね。部屋まで送ってくよ。
Okay, I'm by myself.
何言ってるの。もうフラフラじゃない。心配だから一緒に行く。
Suppose I am, thanks. He was sweet for being worried about me. We slowly trudged together to my room. I'm totally pooped. When we got back to my room, I flopped down onto my bed, boneless, all my tension suddenly gone. This feels heavenly, I'm so ready to crash.
それじゃおやすみ。
Took a few seconds for my sleepy brain to realize he was about to leave. He's going already. Oh, wait.
どうかしたの？
No, it's nothing. Why did I do that? Why did I not want him to leave? The moment he turned to go, I felt worried. Like he wasn't going to come back.
大丈夫？
Yeah, sorry, really, never mind.
そう、それならいいんだけど、ゲームのことはみんなを信じて待つだけだよ。きっと大丈夫。
He smiled reassuringly. Yeah, I think so too, thanks, Toa. I'll see you
お
later.
やすみ。じゃあね。
As he closed the door behind him, my room fell silent. Everything's fine, why wouldn't it be? My eyes slid closed as I tried to convince myself. Before I could make much of an argument, though, I was asleep. A month had passed. After I'd woken up from my nap in my hotel, I learned the others had managed to beat the final game. All of us were released, including Maya. We couldn't go anywhere without hearing about it for a while. But Shido arranged it so we wouldn't have to deal with the media by not releasing any personal information. It wasn't the same for my uncle and the other hostages. The last time I saw him, he told me they were hounded by the press every day. He looked exhausted. As for the 7 teammates who fought for their lives together, we've all gone our separate ways. I heard Miyoshi started a part-time job. Arabe regretted his involvement in Hogstein's plot and turned himself in. Midarashi went back to working at Ulysses and recently started delving into video games. How is he still interested in them after everything that had happened was beyond me, but he seemed happy. Shirabi was still hunting down the truth. None of the mysterious surrounding Count Hogstein had been solved. He completely disappeared after the game ended. According to Shido's official report, the piglets turned out to be regular innocent people. The whole incident was a blank to them. They had no memory of it. Some said Hogstein must have hypnotized them, but no one really knew. I wasn't sure either Shirabi or Shido would find the truth. I was sure they'd find the truth someday. As for me, he really is amazing. Sprawled out on my bed, I watched a video. It was concert footage from a junior boys show. Known for their sharp choreography and catchy lyrics, they're one of the most popular boy bands out there. It was pretty amazing to remember one of them had once told me he'd fallen in love with me. Toa. He'd left in a limo the moment we'd been released from the park without a word to me about anything. I didn't hear from him at all after that, not even a text to say hi. It was as if he'd forgotten about me. I finally gathered enough courage to call his number last week. I got a hold of him, but...
ごめん。やっぱり僕、みんなのアイドルでいたいんだよね。
I was shocked. His apology was so offhand, like he didn't feel guilty at all for leaving me hanging.
あ、一般の女の子と連絡取ってるとマネージャーに怒られちゃうから。ごめんね。じゃあこれで。
And then he hung up. My last shred of hope fizzled, and so did my crush on him. Had I just imagined we were close back then? At least I got to be the girlfriend of a famous singer for a while, huh? I guess it was just a dream. I tried to cheer myself up, but it didn't help. My heart still hurt. And there we go, that's pretty much the ending that we got given. Bit of a sour note.
抱き寄せた君の目に映る世界今す
We get to listen to a chill theme like this.
一番大事な答えはここにある君さ
I know, we got a bad ending. Oh well, what can you do? It was fun, we got to see Toa make some character development, but he turned out to be a bit of a dick at the end. But it happens, I guess. I probably didn't have enough affection raised for him to get his true ending. I wanted to have an ending with Miyoshi, but the game took a completely different route. It's probably because I picked specific options to get me to this result. There's probably an ending with Miyoshi, but I probably had to pick like some other choices to get to him. But for like my first visual novel on stream, I actually really enjoyed this, to be fair. I mean, yeah, that one clue, which was a red herring, was a bit BS with the fuse system, but you know, it is what it is. But overall, I actually really enjoyed it for what it was worth. I mean, yeah, we got a bad ending, but you know, I don't know all the routes off by heart, so. And there we go, that's pretty much our ending. I don't know if we do get to do a new game plus or something, I highly doubt it. Nah, it just saves at the recent stage we're at. So I guess if you wanted to see the other endings, you'd just have to start a new game up anyway. Some visual novels let you do that, where you have clear data, and then you load it up and it starts again from fresh. A lot of RPGs do that too, so, you know, visual novels and RPGs doing it, it's not all that uncommon. But yeah, overall, my experience of this game was a lot of fun. It's a bit of a shame that I got us a pretty underwhelming ending, but, you know, for my first visual novel that I've done on stream, it was fun. The gameplay was pretty good. The clue and puzzles and stuff and the dialogue choices were quite good. If I had a bit more knowledge of them beforehand, I probably could have gotten a better ending, but, you know, it is what it is. Rightio, that's going to be it for now. Thank you very much for watching my playthrough of Sweet Fuse at your side. And, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, ciao for now.